Today we're here to talk to you about the Antica Napa Valley 2009 Chardonnay. It's a wine that is a really special wine for us because this is the first year that we're able to say on the label that we are not only estate grown, but estate produced and estate bottled, which we feel is really critical to making the best Chardonnay possible here on the estate. At Antica, we have 140 acres of Chardonnay, and in 2009, we were able to take grapes from about 6 different blocks of Chardonnay, which represented about 15% of all the grapes that we grow. And with that wine, we were able to make a wine that we feel is just an incredible wine because of its diversity, both from the vineyard blocks, from the soil types where the grapes are being grown, and then also the clonal selection that we have here on the property. Altogether, we have 5 different clones of Chardonnay. 3 are the selections that originally came from Burgundy, and I think of them as bringing more of the aroma and the flavor to the wine. And then 2 are Chardonnay clones that have been developed here in the US, and those 2 I think bring in more of the balance and the minerality to the wine. So for us, being estate grown is very, very critical to really controlling the quality that we put into the wine. And then of course, also being able to bring it to the winery where we can now be called estate produced. Under the guidance of our winemaker, Nate Weiss, along with working with Renzo Cotarella, the chief enologist of Antinori, we really think we put together a wine with the 2009 Chardonnay that really showcases not only the true beauty of Antica, but also the true beauty of Chardonnay coming from the Napa Valley. It definitely brings out the beautiful stone fruit characteristic that we see in the Chardonnay grapes. When I say stone fruits, I oftentimes think of sort of an apricot or a white peach, but also with the underlying features of pear and maybe just a little bit of apple characteristic as well. I think just a really wonderful feature of the 2009 vintage is the beautiful creamy texture in the wine that just gives the wine great depth, great length, and great persistence on the palate.
So here we are again to discuss a little bit and to talk a little bit about the 2009 vintage Antica Napa Valley Chardonnay. And 2009 has been for us a particular vintage. It practically has been the beginning of the new age. Finally, we were able to manage completely our estate, and that is not just a personal satisfaction, but also an opportunity to make a different wine, better wine with all the vines that give to the wine a different approach, a different consistency, a different, let's say, minerality. So it was different vintage, different grapes, variety, different vineyard, different kind of fermentation to try to achieve what we should take from this area. This 2009 Chardonnay is slightly different than the other vintage, not just because the vintage, not just because the vines, but also because we adopted, let's say, a new system, a new method of fermentation. We finally had the possibility to use our caves, where we did the alcoholic fermentation in barrels, but also the malolactic fermentation, much slower, in order to achieve a better result in terms of aromatics, but also in terms of body. For the first time, we decided to blend a little bit of Chardonnay without malolactic fermentation to enhance, in a certain sense, the freshness, the crispness of the wine, to make the wine much more enjoyable. Stylistically speaking, you can taste a wine which is slightly different than most of the Chardonnay produced in Napa Valley, because this place at Antica is really particular, and so you have, in a certain sense, the abundance of the Napa Valley Chardonnay, but also the finesse of the place, with a lot of minerality that gives to the wine a backbone that is able to preserve the wine for many years in the future.